Next up, we'll be talking to two members of Valemount's graduation class. We'll find out what is next for these wayward youth.
We're graduating June. I'm going to plan on, David Lurch and I are going to drive across Canada, and then I'm taking 6 months off, and I'm going to school next January.
Wow, cool. So tell me, why the trip across Canada?
When I went to Encounters with Canada there for a week last March, I met a bunch of people all across Canada, so I'm going to go meet up with them, stay in Quebec, and then just to say I've driven across Canada.
Great.
Yeah.
And then you've decided to take 6 months off. Tell me, what do you plan to do in your 6 months off?
Hopefully, 98% chance of work. I'm going to go up to Grand Prairie and work for my brother. Apparently there's going to be one more year of fall and burn, so we're going to try and get that work in. So 3 months of that, and then the 6 months is partly going to be the traveling too. So yeah, but work definitely.
Now, when you go to school in January, what are you going to go to school for?
I'm going to be taking Conservation and Wildlife, and it's a 4-year degree based on that. So it's like the first 2 years is Conservation and Wildlife, like you get into it, and then you take some law courses, and then when you come out you'll be able to just go full into conservation officer work. So
what drew you towards that program?
I know the conservation officers in Clearwater pretty well, and so they offered me summer work, and that kind of really interested me. And then I was just talking to them about their jobs, and they said it was really cool. They get to be outside all the time, get to be fit, go swimming, go fishing, hiking, hunting, and I'm like, okay, I could do that. And then I won that scholarship, so I may as well do something, and that's what interests me most.
Tell me briefly about the scholarship.
It's the UNBC Scholars Award for top academic in grade 11, so they're going to pay 4 years tuition for me, so it's pretty good. I'm kind of happy.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Hey, so David, tell us about your plans for the future.
I'm going to continue photography and cooking because that's my hobbies, so I think if you can combine your hobbies and your interests into a job, then that's the way to go.
So what's first?
It's going to be put a bit more stress on my mom for another year, and then I'm going to do some cooking to get it behind me. It's only 10 months, and then...
And where are you going to take that course?
The cooking course is going to be in Prince George, and then at some point, after I'm more of a professional at photography, I think I'm going to go to Comox Valley and do a certificate there, and just continue doing what I like to do. Yeah.
Sounds like a great plan. How did you discover your love of photography and your love of cooking?
The cooking is just, I wanted more credits, easier credits, so I started cooking, and then I started enjoying it even more, and now I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy making fancy meals and whatnot. And that's what I do. And the photography, I don't know how it started. Just I wanted a camera so I could record trips that we did, and then started fooling around with how to set it up. And then from there, I started getting nice photos, compliments, and then tried to sell them. But the quality of the first camera wasn't very nice, so I had to buy a second camera, and then started making frames, framing these new photos, and hope to make money off that. So it's just one of the wildlife shots I like the best, and the color of the background seemed to fit with the poplar wood. So I was in Jasper, and we ran into this group of bighorn sheep, and just took, and they were really trustworthy, so you got within a few meters of them, and then they just posed really well. So yeah, that's one of the very many I have. So.
And tell us about the frame.
The frame, well, I decided what better way to do it than make money while you're in school. So during woodworking class, I decided I'd make some frames and possibly be able to sell them, so why not?
What role has your family played in getting you ready for life after school?
Well, Mom still does my laundry. She cooks for me, although I'm a cook, and I'm very glad for that. I'm very glad because this way I don't have to do it at home, and I can focus time on my hobbies. I mean, I'm going to admit I don't do too much at home, but that way it helps me get out, I guess.
I know he's talented, and I like it when my kids are outdoors people, because I am actually an outdoor person too. I'm just raising children right now, and I don't have the time, but I'm happy because I think he found what he really likes, and it always seems he's so satisfied with himself when he comes back from an outdoors trip or with a lot of new photos, and he's happy to share it with us. And I hope we show enough interest in it. Often you have so much work, and he comes with those great pictures, and I'm happy that he can display them here today. Yeah, thanks.
By not getting too mad when I'm not there, they've allowed me to do my hobbies and what I like to do.
To be young again.
Tune in next week when we speak to a very shy Lynsie Shalla, the effervescent Meetul Patel, and hoopster David Carson.
Seems like just yesterday I was going to graduate from high school.
One day, in the not-too-distant future, you will. Next up, foreign correspondent Zachary Schneider delivers his report from Monaco.
Hi, this is Zachary Schneider, foreign correspondent, and I'd like to tell you a little story about a place I'm visiting. If you like princes and princesses, this story is for you. Once upon a time in the Middle Ages, there was a rock. On this rock was a castle and a fortress overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. It was the prince's palace, and it was in Monaco. One day, a man named Francis Grimaldi captured the rock. Disguised as a monk, Francis got into the castle with a sword under his robe and opened the gates for his men and captured the castle. His son, Rainier I, became the first lord. Then it was his son, Charles I, then Antonio, then Rainier II, Gabriel, Louis, Jean I, you get the picture. It was ruled by 25 generations of the Grimaldi family for the next 700 years. The heirs would continue and later be called princes and princesses, the male heir taking precedence. Should the Grimaldis die out, Monaco would become a state of France. Monaco was a small country, about the second smallest in the world, about the size of New York's Central Park. So small that the buildings had to be built into the hills since it had 33,000 citizens, and the whole town was basically a whole country. Monaco is a small country with rich history and rich citizens. In 1870, Monaco proclaimed there would be no taxes, so residents did not pay personal income taxes. Many wealthy foreigners flocked to this country. And why not? The beaches were pretty nice too. Only 16% of the citizens were native people of Monaco, and all the laws had to be passed by the ruling prince. But in a country with no income tax, what would there be to dispute anyways? Sitting on the beach was probably a better use of time than standing in line to vote anyway. As you can imagine, they lived happily ever after. Signing off, this is Zachary Schneider for Valemount Live.
Beat it! Oh.